Are you married or in a committed relationship looking for real advice on having love and enriching your relationship? You are in the right place. Welcome to The Couples Expert with Stuart Fensterheim.
Hello and welcome to the Couples Expert Podcast. This is Stuart Fensterheim, the Couples Expert. Welcome again to this podcast where we pull apart what does it really take to have a significant, emotionally close relationship, one where you really feel like your partner has your back. And this episode on lies and omission is one of the more important ones that I've done recently, because there is nothing more disturbing than having a relationship with someone where you don't know if you can count on the things that they tell you, where you are questioning every single day whether or not your partner is reliable and whether or not you can believe the things that they tell you. When we think about deception, one of the topics that come up quite often for a lot of folks are episodes that I've done on infidelity and those types of relationship injuries, where your partner lies to you about something so basic and it destroys the basic ingredient that led to the two of you getting together, the one that says, I know that my partner is there for me in all ways, emotionally, physically, sexually. But one step below this is the lie of omission. And whether or not you know that when your partner tells you something, you can count on it. I like to use the expression, you could take it to the bank that this is a valid comment and there's no question in your mind of the accuracy of the comment. If that is not there, what do you have? What kind of relationship do you have in which if your partner says, I went to work today and then came home, that you have to then ask yourself, is he telling me the truth? Is that really what happened? Or did something else occur? Because the concept of lies and white lies and omission is a very important topic. It really is the foundation of a relationship. When we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first layer is a foundation. And if you think about building a home, if the foundation is shaky, everything else that comes above that foundation, your bedroom, your children's room, your living room, dining room, kitchen, all of that is not secure and it could just fall apart. If the foundation is strong, and if you have that kind of secure foundation, then you can really enjoy your home. When people talk about their actions and their words have to be consistent, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that when I turn to my wife and I say to her, I'm upset because when I went to work today, my boss was pretty rude to me. They should believe that my boss was pretty rude to me. My wife knows I wouldn't tell her anything that's an untruth, or that's a partial truth, or that I left something out. If I say to her, my boss was rude to me, and I left out the fact that before my boss was rude to me, I insulted his wife and children, that's probably pretty relevant. And if I don't tell her that and I leave that out, what does that really mean? I would suggest very loud and clear, and you will hear me talking about this throughout this episode. A lie is a lie is a lie. And leaving out information that is relevant to your relationship with your partner is not okay, and it's just a lie. So leaving something out isn't acceptable. If it's relevant to the two of you, everything needs to be brought out on the table so that the two of you have that at your beck and call, and that the foundation that we're building in our relationship is a necessary foundation of trust and promises kept. And if we don't tell our partner things, they can't trust us. And the relationship then is basically shaky. So we need to be clear about something, that when you lie to your partner, there is a clear avenue of disrespect and really making your partner feel unimportant to you. It's true. You don't have to give up on your relationship or settle for feeling lost or as if something is missing. You just need to know how to connect with your partner in a way that allows the two of you to feel loved and appreciated. But the problem is that many couples don't have the tools they need to navigate the ups and downs of a relationship without causing relationship injuries to one another. Yet they wonder what happened to the friendship that you used to share. How did it get from where it was in the beginning of the relationship to where you are now, feeling alone, disappointed, and hurt? And yet, you just can't seem to move forward to be happy again. Thankfully, this problem can be fixed, and that's where the 2 days and 7 conversation Hold Me Tight workshop comes in. Just 2 days. You will understand what you and your partner need to have a relationship where both of you are on the same page, working together to have that close relationship you only once dreamed of. Check it out at www.thecouplesexperts.com. Your relationship deserves the two of you feeling that closeness you once had. Why would someone lie? I think one of the reasons that occurs is that what the two of you really have not done is had a clear sense of a strong foundation, as I was talking about earlier. But more importantly, you haven't made the relationship feel like a partnership. And unless you have a partnership in which both people have an expectation that your partner really is someone that you value, then that value has to get translated into all the things we say and do with our partner. Because when we're deceptive with our partners, and as I said a moment ago, omission equals deception. If we don't tell our partners that we went out and we spent a lot of money on a pair of golf clubs, for example, that is a lie. Even if they don't even ask us about it, because there's a clarity that you know that your partner would be uncomfortable with you purchasing that item. And the reason that you're leaving out the dialogue, because when we are living our life with someone and we're sharing all of our hopes and dreams and desires, you should be excited to be able to go tell your partner that you bought this exciting pair of golf clubs. But leaving this out, the omission, is really you not being able to really share all the things that go on for you with your partner. And that really interferes with the closeness that the two of you can have. So what that then opens up is the question of, why do we lie to each other? Why would I not tell my wife something that important to me? It's because you don't feel like you have the same values. You don't feel like your partner is truly someone that has your back, that has the ability to understand what's important to you, and that the two of you have been able to talk about these things and work them out so everything is on the table. There should be nothing that you can't share. And we have to develop a basic foundation that includes sharing all the things that we think about, all the things that we hope for, all the things that we desire. And if it's an area that creates some tension between the two of you, that the two of you have had a dialogue that talked about this. So omitting and leaving out information about your day is really having you live separate lives. The life that you are building with your partner should be one where everything is talked about. And so often there are couples that I see in my office and that I understand have difficulties really feeling I can be that authentic with one another. And the authenticity, when it comes into question, is about omission. The question that gets asked is, why do people do that? What is the reason that we would omit information to our partner? I think the first one is really it's about fear. It's about being afraid that your partner is going to see you in a particular way, or that you're going to be on the receiving end of their wrath or anger, or there'll be a reprisal or some punishment from knowing these information. And that it feels so absolutely awful to have your partner angry with you. I think we all can relate to that. These are people that we love. This is your partner. This is your friend. This is someone that you respect, and their judgment of you means a lot. And so often, when we are caught up in this deceptive kind of relationship, our partners feel so unimportant, they don't really realize how important they are. So there's a lot of fear that goes into how they will see you, how they will think about you. I think the next reason that there's a lot of omission of pieces of information with our partner is that there's guilt for the things that we've done. If you went to a strip club and you know your partner disrespects people who go to strip clubs, you know that if you tell them that you and your buddy just got back and took lunch at the local strip club, you know what the reaction would be and how upset your partner will be and how guilty you're going to feel because you know how your partner feels about it and you know that you shouldn't have been there. And what goes along with this next piece is a lot of shame. There's a shame because your partner now is going to see something in you that perhaps they didn't know. I think if we look at this from a sexual standpoint, I hear this happening a lot where there's a sexual relationship that there's a lot of time that they're not engaging sexually and someone is masturbating. And their partner may say, we haven't had sex in a while. I know this is really interesting. What are you doing about it? And your answer is, I'm waiting for you. Well, that's a lie. You're masturbating. And talking about that is an absolute essential part of the dialogue of talking about how are we dealing with our sexual relationship. And if you leave out that information, if you omit that, you're lying to your partner. And if they find out, how they see you is not going to be with something that has a lot of respect for you. And what's so interesting about this is when I have couples in my office and we begin to pull this apart, what I normally hear is the part that makes the partner the craziest is a comment like, they lie to me, they leave things out, and there's not a reason for it. I would be fine with the things that they are telling me If I just knew. If your partner turned to you and said, I'm masturbating so I can deal with these sexual impulses so I don't do anything that might be disrespectful to you, partner would say, that's okay. And it's a vulnerable dialogue. It's a dialogue where two people are sharing their deep-rooted feelings and how they cope with day-to-day stresses that come up. And that's what your partner should be there for. Your partner should be someone that you could share anything with, including these kinds of things. And we can go from the more vulnerable sexual discussion to the small little thing, like I went and I bought something at Circle K on my way in, and I got distracted, and that's why I was late. And that's not what you tell your partner. You tell your partner you got an important phone call, or you got a call from your friend, and then your wife or husband learns that call never happened. And now they see you as never telling them the truth. And there's a basic feeling of lack of importance as a result of that. So what we want to do is really avoid defining omission as anything but a lie. And so often what the real struggle is, it becomes an element of deception, not of with your partner, but to yourself. It's self-deceit. And what I hear people saying is, well, I'm protecting my partner because they won't be able to handle these things. And that's just bullshit. That's lying. And I am somebody that believes white lies are still lies. And I want the two of you to establish a relationship that is filled with both of you always, always, always being honest with one another. Never deceiving one another. Not avoiding conflict because you feel totally comfortable that if there is some conflict, you'll be able to deal with it. Not to avoid disapproval of your partner, because being authentic is more important than your partner always seeing you in a particular way. You want to know that you are authentic with your partner and they see all of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and love every single element of it. And that there's never a reason to have to manipulate facts. Just think about this for a minute. How easy would that be? How relaxing would that be? If all you have to do is be yourself and say what's real, and that you never have to avoid telling the truth, because there's a real basic trust. The foundation that we were talking about. There's a basic trust that your partner sees you as the best thing that ever happened to them, including the things that sometimes you do that may not be something they'd necessarily approve of, but for the most part, the things that you are involved with, the things that you say, the things that you do, your words and your actions are always consistent and always going to have them feel like the luckiest person alive. And so often, I think what gets in the way of this is a couple who haven't talked about the things that they need to talk about before they get together. Before you are in a serious relationship, you're hiding parts of yourself. And that's why a relationship needs to take the time, whatever it takes, for two people to really understand each other, where there aren't secrets, where family history is discussed, where trauma that either of you have had is identified and talked about. I see this quite often with couples where the woman, primarily it's the woman, have had instances of trauma of sexual abuse that never got talked about, that never got spoken, or a couple who haven't talked about the fact that in their past marriage, there was a marital rape, or that during a divorce, there were some horrible things that happened that led to you having a real shutdown and a lack of trust of people in your life, and you haven't discussed this. Things that don't get talked about is a lying of omission. If you haven't shared old boyfriends, old girlfriends, what your relationship histories were like, that's an omission. If you haven't talked about the things that you need from a relationship and what kind of role you want to play as a wife or as a husband, that's a lie of omission. These are the kinds of vulnerable discussions that every couple needs to have. And if you haven't had these dialogues, that's lying by omission. You need to be so comfortable with your partner that there's nothing that can't be discussed, and there's nothing that you can't share with your partner. And when your partner brings up concerns about your style of relating in your life, or things that go on for you that bother them and not talked about, that's a lie by omission. If your wife turns to you and asks you how your day went, and it was a shitty day, if we don't tell our partners, that's a lie by omission. If you went out and you bought a candy bar and you're on a diet, and your partner turns to you and says, so what did you eat today? And you don't tell them everything you eat, that's a lie of omission. I'm breaking it down into this minute kind of details, not to say you have to talk about all of these things, but to show you an omission is a lie. And your partner needs you to be someone that they know they can count on. They know that nothing that comes out of your mouth is not true. And if you say nothing else is going on, they can take that to the bank that nothing else is going on. When your partner turns to you and says, are you upset with me? And you are, and you don't say that you are upset, that's a lie of omission. If you go along and agree with a discussion and we say, okay, we got into this conflict, what are we going to do to try to help it happen? I want you to agree that you're going to call me when you leave your office, so I know when to expect that you'll be home, and you think it's silly, and you think it's wrong, and you think you shouldn't have to, and you agree to it, but have absolutely no thought that you're going to follow through with that because you don't agree with the plan, that's a lie by omission. We have to develop relationships where everybody involved is on the same page. Don't lie by omission. And obviously, don't lie by not telling the truth. But what the focus today really is about are the things that don't get shared, not things that get shared that are untrue. Because we all know that those are lies. Okay? Now, let's differentiate this from your wife or your husband turning and saying, how does this look on me? And if you say, it looks great, but it looks like crap, that's just a lie. White lies are lies too. I think the only time I would say to you that it's acceptable is if your wife or husband turned to you and said, what are we doing tonight? And the answer is, oh, I'm taking out to dinner for your birthday. And the reality is you have a party coming. That's an okay lie. But it's still a lie. Let's just face the fact that sometimes we lie to our partners with good intention. If it's something like that, That's not a problem. So here's an issue with all of this. One of the things the two of you need to stand back and ask yourself is my partner someone who I respect? If the answer is yes, then the commitment that each one of you need to make today is that the lies and deceptions stop today. Because if you're truly not compatible to your partner, where you can't be authentic, you may need to think about what do you have to do about this relationship. What I encourage you to do is seek out some professional help. If you're in a relationship in which you don't feel like you can truly be yourself and lay it all out there for the world to see, for your partner to really know who you are, guts and all, that's a relationship that's in serious trouble. And I want you to come clean. I want you to turn to your partner and let them know that you are uncomfortable with the relationship that you have, because there are a lot of times that you leave facts out for fear of the reaction, and that you're going to work really hard to really be more straightforward, truthful, and to the point. And you need their support on this. And talk about what they can do that may allow you to have a different kind of relationship, one that is straightforward and authentic. And practice with your partner every single day, being honest, authentic, and truthful, even when it's hard. Tell your partner you're struggling with this and that you're going to try to be more honest and straightforward. And ask them to please give you a break and have some compassion about the difficulties and that you're addressing it. It will strengthen your relationship and the emotional connection that will be built having this foundation you won't even recognize. After 90 days of really working on this as a couple, you will see that the two of you can now have this really incredible relationship where both of you feel so important to one another. Take care. We'll see you all next time, where we'll have a guest on the show, Alana Pratt, who is going to talk about how to fall madly in love with yourself. I wanted to let all of you know just how much I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to the Couples Expert podcast, and let you know that I'm going to be taking a break from recordings in the month of August. My plan is for my wife and I to take a well-needed vacation, and we're going to be going on a cruise. I'm going to be living out what I teach, which is that you and your partner should take a vacation every single year. It's our annual vacation that we take, and we're going on a cruise to England and Oslo and Bruges, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm going to be tuning out, not bringing my phone or computer or iPad or anything that might distract my wife and I from just really enjoying each other's company and having us have a vacation of a lifetime. But what I've asked my staff to do is to replay some of the more popular episodes. And I'm going to be returning with new episodes in September. So that'll be our new season, I guess. And I hope you all have a wonderful month of August. And I look forward to bringing all of you more exciting guests and information on having that most important, close, connected, emotionally secure relationship. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for listening. This episode has ended, but your journey continues. Head over to www.thecouplesexperts.com to access all the links and resources mentioned in this episode, as well as bonus content exclusive to podcast listeners. Enjoyed this episode? Why not hit subscribe now and never miss an episode?